Hey guys, welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today on the menu we got the Riven Disposition changes that were brought to Warframe with the Atlas Prime patch. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna jump on over to the official Warframe forums and have a look at the changes. The article is by D.E. Connor, and you can find a link to this article in the description down below. We got changes to primary weapons and we got changes to secondary weapons as well. Nothing to melee, because melee 3.0 will eventually be done, hopefully, and nothing to arc guns either. So without further ado, my poor Fulmin. Minus 0.2, this is the biggest nerf of this patch, minus 0.2 on the Fulmin. It's a huge nerf, it's from 3 to 2 Riven Disposition, but to be honest, the Fulmin is a fantastic weapon with or without a Riven. It's flexible, it's extremely powerful, the base stats are more than enough to carry this weapon. It does not need a Riven. Now I know, if you guys have a Riven, it's gonna hurt your soul to see these nerfs, and I do feel for you, but them's the breaks. The Arca Plasmor also received a nerf from 0.6 to 0.55, so 0.05. It doesn't really matter all that much, because even with 0.6 or 0.55, you're gonna need a god roll on your Riven to make sure that it's worth using on your build. The Arca Plasmor is a fantastic shotgun. Again, it's one of the most popular in the game because it's easy to use and extremely powerful. Yeah, sure, there are more powerful shotguns in Warframe, but not many that are more fun than the Arca. And the Fulmin has basically kind of similar mechanics to the Arca, except the secondary fire, of course. Javlock and Latron both received a buff, a 0.05. It's not gonna make a big change in these weapons, simply because it's not a question of Riven Disposition when it comes to the Latron at the very least. It's a question of usability. It's a question of a weapon that feels very, very dated, very old for what Warframe is today. The Latron needs a full rework from my humble point of view. The Nagantaka saw a buff of 0.1 extra. I love this crossbow, it's fantastic. I just forget to bring it from mission to mission. It's extremely powerful, but it's not on par with the Zuge Prime from my point of view. And the Zuge also received a nerf, a 0.1 minus. It's still the best crossbow from my humble point of view. The Quanta received another buff, 0.1 extra. Now, I love the Quanta, and when I say Quanta, I mean the Quanta Vandal, which is brought by Barocketeer every couple of months or so. Guys, if you're tired of your standard assault rifle, if you want a spacey futuristic weapon with an interesting mechanic that can pack one hell of a punch, invest in the Quanta Vandal. Link in the cards right now for a full review on this glorious weapon. It's more than worth investing in, at least from my humble point of view. The Rubico, one of the best, if not, let's say, the best Eidolon hunter right now in terms of power and usability, sees another nerf, and I think it's the 4th in a row, if I'm not mistaken, down to 0.65. Again, the nerf is so small, it's not really gonna make a huge difference, and you're still gonna pay a whole lot for Rubico Rivens. Again, if you wanna go Eidolon hunting, the Rubico makes it a lot more simpler, a lot easier, smoother, usability as well as power. The Simular saw a buff, a 0.1 extra. I'm still working on the review for this one. Hopefully I'm going to be able to get it out by the end of the year. No promise. The Tiburon sees a nerf, 0.1 minus. The Tiburon Prime, from my point of view, is the ultimate assault rifle. All the prominent fire modes, packs a punch in any fire mode you desire. It's extremely flexible and extremely powerful. And it's subjectively good looking as well and extremely fashionable. With or without a Riven, the Tiburon Prime can still pack a punch, and I do have a Tiburon Riven, so this one hurts my soul just as much as it hurts yours. The Town Core. I said it once and I'll say it again. It needs more than this for the Town Core to be a viable weapon again. Once upon a time, the Town Core was the weapon to have. It was extremely powerful. Not anymore. Now it's at the bottom of the pile. As you can see, they keep on buffing the Riven Disposition. And about the Zuge, I know it's not pronounced Zuge, but I like Zuge. We already talked about, so let's move on to the secondary weapon, starting with the Akshagara Prime. Now this one got a pretty big nerf, 0.15 minus. Now if you're looking for a secondary weapon that can deal an insane amount of slash procs, then go for the Akshagara Prime. I highly recommend it. Link in the cards right now. As for the nerf, yeah, it does hurt, and honestly, considering that this is a semi-weapon, I don't get this nerf. Apparently it's a whole lot more popular than I thought. Buffs for the Ballistica and the Brak. Link in the cards right now for a full review on the Ballistica Prime. It's got a really cool ghost mechanic. Check it out, it's really cool. As for the Brak, my friends, the Brak comes to us really late in the game. It's very RNG determined, so from my point of view, if we would get the Brak earlier, like MR5, MR6, MR7, something like that. With a small buff on it, it would become a relevant weapon, but as it is today, hell no, stay away from the Brack, this doesn't really matter. Catch Moon Nerf, are you surprised? I mean, at this point, I'm not even surprised anymore. It's a fantastic secondary weapon, it's on par with the Arca Plasmor for frick's sake. It can deal even more damage than the Arca Plasmor. In certain cases, not every single one, but still, I'm not surprised to see this nerf down to 0.5, and Rivens are hardly worth it anymore for the Catch Moon. Not that it made a huge change from 0.6 to 0.5. Cyanix, I don't care. Gammacor, fantastic buff on this one. I wished it was a 0.1, but only 0.05. I love the Gammacor. The Sionid Gammacor is the more powerful version. Link the cards right now for a full review on this glorious weapon. We got a buff on the Nell, the Lex, and the Murloc as well. Now, the Murloc used to be a fan favorite weapon, especially by veterans, because you got the Vacor version. Go for this one, I highly recommend it. As for the Nell, this one is for the sharpshooter. Can you get consistent headshots, yes or no? Because if you can, go for it. If not, the Lex Prime, my friends, has always been a staple when it comes to secondary weapons. It's the Deagle. If you want the Deagle experience, go for the Lex Prime. If not, the AK Lex Prime, if you want to dual wield them. But the recoil on the AK version is just atrocious. Another nerf on the Piranha Prime, one of the weapons that I am not a fan of, but is extremely powerful and extremely popular, the Piranha Prime. A small nerf on this one, we're looking at minus 0.05, and on the Rattle Guts as well, another minus 0.05. So as you can see, they are nerfing the kit guns. As you can see, we got a nerf on the Catch Moon, on the Rattle Guts, and on the Tomb Finger as well. Not huge nerfs. Minus 0.1 on the Catch Moon, that one is the biggest, but 0.05 on Rattle Guts and on the Tomb Finger as well. Again, it doesn't really make that much of a difference, and as you can see, the Gaze is still not being nerfed because it's not as popular, and I know there are certain fans of the Gaze chamber, but it's the black sheep out of all the kit guns. It's the weakest out of the bunch. Sonicor gets a small buff, which is absolutely beautiful. Go for the Sonicor, my friends. It's a fantastic weapon. If you have not played with the Sonicor, then you have not played Warframe, and I'm happy to see this buff, as I am with the Spira 0.05 extra. The Spira Prime, from my humble point of view, is the most powerful secondary thrown weapon. And I know that's not really saying a lot, but it's something. And the Twin Grakatas also see a buff, another 0.05. More Daka. What else can I say? And I think, my friends, that is pretty much it. I'm not really surprised by these changes except for the Arca Plasmor. Yeah, I honestly didn't think this was necessary, but at the end of the day, I'm guessing that Digital Extremes is basing these decisions on their popularity numbers, with a couple of exceptions. For example, they're not touching the comb, because they want the true 100% status chance build to still be a thing, as well as the minus impact build, which is also extremely powerful. And I do believe that is pretty much it, but there are a couple of things which I want to point out. Let's talk about Eidolon hunting. As you saw there from the Eidolon weapons, only the Tomb Finger and the Rubico really got nerfed. You can also hunt them with a Catch Moon, but try the Tomb Finger instead. Trust me on that one. We didn't see a nerf on the other sniper rifles. I'm talking about the Lanka, and I'm talking about the Vectis Prime as well. Again, the Rubico was top dog, definitely, no questions about it, but at least they left alone the Lanka and the Vectis Prime. Now, I love using the Vectis Prime on Eidolon hunt simply because you can rapid fire the weapon with great success. And again, it's not as powerful. You don't get as high numbers as with the Rubico, but it can successfully hunt Eidolon hunts without any problems at all. So at least they left the Vectis Prime alone. When it comes to the Lanka, never been a fan of it. And I'll tell you why. It's a charged weapon. And speaking of charged weapons, you know what other weapon we didn't see on that list? We didn't see a nerf on the bows. And I'm talking about the Daikyu specifically. Now, Daikyu, after the more recent bow changes, is a fantastically powerful weapon. And you can one-shot Eidolon limbs with it without any real issue. Don't believe me? Seeing is believing. Link in the cards right now for that one. And I think that's pretty much it. I like the frequency of these Riven Disposition changes, and whether you own Rivens or not for these glorious weapons, you gotta accept that some balancing work needs to be done to these Rivens, otherwise we're gonna keep on using the same weapons over and over again. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. If you got any sorts of feedback for me, I would love to read it in the comment section down below. And if you love the content, consider supporting us via Patreon. Until next time, my friends. Bye-bye.